Welcome to AntStaffSpeaks. I'm so glad to see you guys back. Thank you for being here. You guys know I help a lot of people every day with their stories, their life journey. And so some of you have already asked me over and over and over again, what is your story? What are you about? And how did you get where you are today? So I'm going to answer that for you right now in this video. Hey guys, wow. So here we are again with another story. I've been doing these videos now for a couple months, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. And I get all of your comments and your emails and your text messages and the hugs you give me in person whenever I see you guys. So it really makes me feel like I'm making an impact in your life, and so I really appreciate that. Thankfully, I've been getting that feedback and a lot of questions and comments about some of the things that I have talked about in my videos, and more importantly, even some of the things that have happened in my life and how I got to where I am. And I know I don't share a lot at one time about some of the background of my success story, and trust me, I will. Over time, I'm going to give you more and more, because ultimately I don't want this to be about me. I want it to be about you. I had a good friend of mine who I really respect, and he shared with me that it was really important for me to share a little bit more about my story and how I got where I am, so that I can help others get where they're trying to go. And so thank you to that friend. You know who you are. I'm going to take you up on that advice. And so today's video is a little story about me, about my life journey, my story, about how I got to Los Angeles from Miami, Florida, how I got into college, and how I got into the careers that I currently have. Those of you who are watching, and some of you are in the entertainment business, I know many of you have asked me about my journey into the entertainment business, considered to be one of the most difficult and challenging businesses to get into. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, as well as my transition from the entertainment business into law enforcement. I get a lot of questions about, well, from most of the people that I talk to, confused a little bit as to why someone would want to leave the entertainment business and go into any other field. And the truth of the matter is, and those of you who know me, I never left the entertainment business, but I did take a transition from that being my primary focus and started adding a bunch of other things. So we're going to talk about that as well. And hopefully today's story time will give you a little bit more about me. That's the goal. So, okay, I got to stay hydrated. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about me. So for those of you who are just getting to know me, you might not know that I'm originally from Miami, Florida. That's where I was raised. I was born in Ohio, but I grew up in Miami, Florida, and went to high school and that whole thing. I was actually in a performing arts school my entire life, elementary, middle, high school. And I focused mostly on theater, okay? Sometime during my 11th and 12th grade year, I started to really refine that focus into filmmaking and writing, and I got really fascinated about that business. And so I started to kind of hone in into that field a little more, and all of the schools that I was applying to were all film related, and most of them were the top film schools in the country. One of those schools happened to have been U.S.C. at the University of Southern California, right here in Los Angeles. At the time, the #1 film school. Very proud of that. And I am a U.S.C. Trojan, as you can see. So now you're going to find out how I got to be a U.S.C. Trojan. I'll tell you, though, when I was in high school, I didn't have the full support that I thought I would in pursuing some of the dreams that I wanted to pursue. And many of you out here I know are facing the same issues. I had a counselor in particular who I remember sitting in his office, and I was explaining to my counselor, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to go to Los Angeles, California. I'm going to leave my family behind, and I'm going to go and apply and get into this U.S.C. film school that I had only read about and only heard about, but I knew it was the #1 school because all of the research that I had done. And that counselor looked at me and really didn't hesitate at all and said, you'll never get into that school. Are you kidding yourself? Don't even waste your time. And I remember I left the office a little deflated because for anybody who is trying to accomplish something in life, you hope to have the support from at least your counselors, right? Or your teachers or your family and your parents, brothers and sisters. But it's a little challenging when you actually rely on the support of people like that and they let you down. And I have to tell you, I left the office deflated and wasn't quite sure why he felt I wasn't good enough to get into U.S.C. And yes, I understand it's tough. 10,000 or more people apply to U.S.C. Film School and they only admit maybe 35 to 40 every year. So I knew I had my odds stacked against me. But up until that point, I hadn't even really thought about it, right? And so I was just excited. I remember later on in the week, I was in my class and I was sharing with my class, my other senior classmates, about my desire to go to U.S.C. And it seemed like the whole class erupted in laughter. And I'm just looking around like, really? Did I say something funny? Because if I did, I want to know. And I remember one of the kids said, "Hey man, you're thinking too out there. You're never going to get into U.S.C. Are you kidding me? Do you know what kind of school U.S.C. is? Their film school is #1. You're like here in Miami. You'll never get in. Don't even bother." And I just kept hearing those words. Don't bother. You'll never get in. Don't do it. You can't do it. You won't do it. It was just echoing in the classroom. And once again, I kept thinking, man, I'm just a little deflated, But it was interesting because in that moment that I was hearing those echoes of those voices of people telling me what I could not do, all I could remember is that there was a triggering moment that I decided that I was going to prove them wrong. And it was a great moment for me in my life because I took all of the energy that they were throwing at me, which was negative, and the naysayers and all of the things that people said, I can't, I won't, I shouldn't. And it was immediately in that moment that it was triggering a new light for me. It was immediately deflected back to those people. And I remember saying to myself, okay, you think I can't, but I'm going to show you that I will. And I just kept on doing what I was doing and applying to the schools that I was most interested in, U.S.C., NYU, UCLA. And I wrote my letters and I did my essays and I knew I had the grades. I was a great academic student, so that wasn't the issue. And I just sent my applications in. Well, lo and behold, despite what everyone else had told me, despite what my counselor had said, and my friends or my so-called friends and all the naysayers that I had around me, I got into every single one of the schools that I applied to, into their film schools, including U.S.C. Film School. And so that was the beginning of my journey from Miami to Los Angeles, California. And that point of where I began the transition from one coast to the other happened not because of what others around me were trying to tell me to do or not to do, but because I had an unequivocal belief in myself that I would do it and that I could do it. And every moment since then, once I proved them wrong, but more importantly, once I proved myself right, I always operated with that same sense of belief and mindset in my life. And that's how I've carried myself from Miami through and into Los Angeles. And so, of course, I graduated from U.S.C. I'm very thankful. I did well there. I graduated top of my class. And, one of the biggest fears I had while going to college, and I know many of you, I'm sure many of you are thinking about this right now, just getting out of high school. Those of you who are my high school followers, but if you're in college right now, I know you're thinking, like I did, just afraid that you're not going to start a job. You're going to go to school for 4 years, you're going to get out and you're going to be unemployed, right? I had those same thoughts every day that I was in college, from freshman day one all the way to the day I graduated. And so because I thought that way, I spent the entirety of my 4 years in college preparing for my entry into the entertainment business. I knew, like everybody knew, that it was almost impossible to get into the entertainment business, that this industry was tumultuously difficult, challenging, and very discouraging for anybody trying to get a break, to get a start. I know for actors, they have the same feeling, but more so for production people, you have to know somebody to get in this business, and I didn't know anybody. And so I spent the entirety of my 4 years in college trying to nurture every opportunity and relationships that I could to try to get my foot in the door. And that's a message for you guys too who are listening. Sometimes we expect doors to be open for us, and sometimes we hope that doors are going to be open for us and the things that we want to accomplish. But I'm here to tell you that I learned very early on, and I want you guys to learn right now today. You don't have to wait until a door is open for you. In fact, you don't even have to wait until there's a door for you to see. If you want in to something, you break down whatever barrier is in your way. You do whatever you have to do, whatever it takes to make that opportunity exist for you. And that's what I did every day, every moment while I was in college. I remember, now you guys can't tell anybody this because, and hopefully no one is watching that remembers any of this, but I remember when I was in college, I would leave campus and I would go to the movie studios and the television studios, and I would sneak onto those studio lots just so I can get onto the lots and interact with all the people that were there, and even to get into some of those shows that were taping in hopes of meeting the right person. I did that every week, every weekend that I could for the entire 4 years I was in college. And I'll tell you, I did it for one particular show, a show called Family Matters that was on ABC. I went to that show, snuck in, watched the episode being taped like everyone else, and then when the audience was escorted outside of the building when the taping was done, I would sneak down into the stage where all the people were meandering around, and the actors and the producers and the writers. And I managed to do that every single time I went to a taping. I just walked right past the ushers, I smiled, I gave them a little nod, a fist bump, and I guess they thought that I belonged there. But I got down to the stage and I would try to meet whoever I could. And eventually that type of interaction led to my very first job when I graduated from U.S.C. My very first job was a production assistant job on the show Family Matters. And it was built from a relationship that I had created from sneaking onto the stage and sneaking onto the lot. So the point of that story is to let you know that I didn't wait for the door to open. I didn't wait to get invited to the show. I didn't wait for the chance to meet somebody. I said that I had to go and break down barriers because I knew it was going to be difficult to get into the business. And that's what you guys have to do for your dream today. You have to do whatever it takes to get in the door. If you're trying to be a doctor, if you're trying to be a lawyer, if you're trying to get into XYZ college or university, you don't let people around you tell you what you can and cannot do. And then you do whatever it takes to accomplish the opportunity that you need to get that dream fulfilled. Those are the most important parts of the story so far. Don't listen to naysayers and break down doors. And that's what got me into the business, doing both of those things. And so I worked hard in the business. I love the business. I had a great opportunity to work with everybody from Will Smith to Halle Berry to Steven Spielberg and just a bunch of other producers and writers, and created tremendous relationships with a lot of different people over the years, and worked in all types of capacities, every position from the bottom all the way to the top. So I've had a great career. And then you might wonder, and like a lot of people who do pull me aside and say, well, if you had such a great career, why did you leave the business? Well, first, let me just clear that up. I never left the business, okay? I did shift how I operate in the business, but I never left the business. And those of you who have watched some of my other videos, you know that I'm very, very passionate about following and doing what you're passionate about doing. My belief is that you can also do as many things as you love, as you're passionate about. And so, whereas it may seem to some of you that I have a lot of different things on my plate, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm an empowerment coach, I'm a business consultant, I run a couple businesses, I'm a law enforcement officer, and I also work in the entertainment business. The reason why all of those things are happening simultaneously is because I am actually a living, breathing example of someone who is doing exactly what they love to do. I am doing what I am passionate about. And so I never left the business. I just transitioned into another career that I was passionate about. And then I moved to other careers that I was passionate about. But I will tell you the truth. While climbing the ladder of the entertainment business, I did find myself looking or searching for a more meaningful experience in life. And so that kind of aligns with the idea of finding your purpose or aligning yourself more with your true intention. And that's what I was ultimately trying to do. So as I was working in the entertainment business and becoming more successful and garnishing all these accolades, I felt as though I wasn't accomplishing them with the right intention and with the right alignment to my purpose. And so I started exploring other things that I was passionate about. And so that's the bottom line. It led me to different careers and different things. But I'll tell you that if you're struggling with anything that you're doing right now, today, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, man, I love the job that I'm doing, but I'm still not fulfilled, then I challenge you to find out what's going to help to fulfill you. What is missing from your journey? You have to be able to answer that question. If you can't answer it right now, then I want you to go and think about it some. Take some time to write down some notes about the things that you're doing currently and the things that you see yourself doing in the future. I want you to think about the things that you love, the things that you're good at, and how that will service the community or the world that you live in, the purpose. For me, I'm doing what I love, and I love what I do. But now, more than ever, I really want to make sure that I'm more aligned with my purpose, with my intention. And everything that I do in my life now is to operate for that cause. I don't want to do anything that I'm not in love with. I don't want to do anything that I'm not good at. And I definitely don't want to do anything that's not aligned with my purpose. And so this whole story so far is just a little piece of my journey. I can talk for hours and hours about more of my life, and I plan on sharing in other videos to come some more details about my life journey and some of the struggles and the obstacles that I had to overcome. The three important points that I want you guys to take away today. Number one, do not let anyone in your life, whether they are foe or friend, family or authority figure, tell you what you can or cannot do. Close your ears off to the naysayers that are around you. Don't let anyone's no be the final punctuation to your dream or defer you from where you're trying to go. You let that no mean not yet, or you challenge that no with proof positive that you're going to get it done. And guess what? You will get it done. And the second thing I wanted to make sure that you guys remember is determination. You've got to have absolute determination when it comes to the things that you're trying to do. You cannot let the doors that are closed in your face stop you from achieving your dream. Matter of fact, you can't even let the fact that there are no doors to get into stop you from getting your dream. You better climb through a window, or you better crawl underneath a wall, or you better get a bulldozer with your determination and your persistence, and you better knock down whatever barrier is in your way. There should be nothing that stops you from fulfilling the dream and the passion that you have for yourself. And thirdly, the third thing I want you guys to take away is, in order for you to actually be fulfilled in your life and in your dreams and in your job and your college, is that you have to be aligned with your purpose. And anytime you feel like you're not fulfilled or you need to transition from one thing to another, you have permission to do that. You don't have to be stuck anywhere. And you don't have to just do one thing that you love. You can do as many things that you love. As long as you love it, you're passionate about it, you're good at it, and it fulfills a certain purpose and intention in your life. Okay, so I hope you guys got something out of that. I really appreciate you guys watching and participating on this journey with me. And so I felt it was important, of course, to share a little bit more of who I am and how I got to where I am today, in hopes that I encourage and inspire somebody out there to do the same. Make sure you guys please continue to comment and like my videos. I read those comments, I get engaged by them, and they give me great ideas. And please also share this video with anyone you know who might be inspired or encouraged or motivated in their own life journey. And of course, you can follow me right here in all my social media, on my website. I have my thought journal. Just stay connected with me. And until next time, I always want you to remember, resist your fear, demand your dream. I'll see you guys real soon.